everyone, welcome to Laurie's Little Studio. I'm Laurie and today I have this. You may have seen prior to this intro a montage of me working on this box right here. I had planned to do a video of this project and then I decided I didn't like it. I just don't, I like the box and I will continue to work on it, but I didn't like the video. So we're just gonna let the montage of it at this particular point stand, and I am going to do something else because I have been just really anxious to sew, and I've got a couple projects in mind. I have fabrics, I have ideas, and I really need to sew. And on top of that, there's a new baby coming in the family. My sister's granddaughter is having a baby girl in June, and I want to do a smocked baby bonnet. I would do an entire outfit, but when I was making the two little boy outfits, I'll try to remember to link those videos. I think it was a two-part down below in the description box. I realized that that baby that was born a couple years ago was just absolutely flooded with clothes and heirlooms and really didn't need two baby outfits. So for baby number 2, I don't know what they've decided to name her, if they've decided, since she hasn't been born yet, but I'm going to do a smocked baby bonnet, and babies can wear those bonnets for, you know, a multitude of outfits. Go to church, go visit grandma, whatever. So that's what I'm planning to do for baby number 2. And I'm also, because we're heading up to Valentine's Day, I want to do a Valentine's Day table runner. I did not do one last year, but now I have my favorite tablecloth, which is just a drop cloth. It's just a simple drop cloth and I love it. So now that I have my tablecloth that I'm thrilled with, I'm going to go ahead and do a real full, you know, an actual tabletopper. In addition to that, I also have a bag, like a travel bag, that I want to make. And I have some sewing projects that I've let just kind of pile up and overrun that I need to take care of. Some are mending, some are tailoring, some are things that I've wanted to do for quite some time. I have a dress for my daughter Candace that I need to hem. I have, I think, a skirt and a pair of pants for my youngest daughter Jessica that need some adjustments made. And then my husband has a pair of jeans that he also needs some help. I think a belt loop or something came undone. And they've just kind of been piling up, and you know how that goes. So let's get this open, and there should be another one. I bought 2 pieces of fabric off of Etsy, and one was from one Etsy shop and one was from another Etsy shop. And I don't think the second one, I know it's shipped, but I haven't checked on the tracking today, so I'm not 100% sure if it's in the mailbox today or not. So let's open this guy. I have no idea which one it is. They're both going to be for the Valentine's Day table topper. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but when Valentine's Day is up and coming, it's before my birthday. My birthday's February 5th. But as soon as I start seeing hearts and red roses and stuffed teddy bears and jewelry ads and, you know, whatnot, I start thinking about my birthday. So if I can get this done before my birthday, this will be on the table on my birthday, even though it's before Valentine's Day. This feels suspiciously like 2. No, maybe not. It's just one. Okay. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. It is so cute. I love it. I bought a yard of this, 45 inches wide, and I bought a yard of the other one, which I do hope will arrive today. If it does, I'll tack that on to this video. But I bought a fat quarter bundle at Michael's to demo how to apply and use a walking foot, and these fabrics were part of that. Now I don't know if any of these will go. If not, I can use them for something else. So I'm not at all discouraged by these prints that go sort of hand in hand with cherries in my world anyway. So when the other yardage arrives, I'm going to pop a picture of it up right here, just in case if it doesn't come today, I'd like for it to at least be in this montage. Hey everyone. Alright, it's the same day, it's just a few minutes later. I literally opened a trunk that I've had in here for a long time, and I found, my goodness, I found a bunch of stuff. These from like 6 years ago. What? They're like almost perfect for this project. I found some very old business cards that my sister and I had together. Oh, I don't know what that is. I'm a little freaked out. I mean, this has literally been packed away for, I don't even know how long. Crazy amount of time. I had all these paintbrushes down in Alabama with me when I stayed with her for a while. Look at these. This Daler Rowney paint is still good. I mean, oh my gosh. So I think I'm going to leave my brushes. I'll probably get rid of these little sponge bits because you just don't know what's in them. I have chalk. But this is where all of my fabulous paintbrushes went. I mean, I loved this set. And when I could no longer figure out where it was, I was brokenhearted. They're just wonderful paintbrushes. So it pays sometimes to go ahead and open the trunk. Kind of weird. I mean, I'm looking at float and maybe gesso that I absolutely forgot that I had. So I'm going to continue cleaning. Okay, I'm back. It's the next day. This video is just a whole string of days that I'm just going to try to montage into something that makes sense, I guess. We'll see how that goes. I've kind of been sketching the table runner, really loose sketching, and I'm trying to decide right now about the hearts that I found cut out yesterday in the trunk. I don't know where they came from. I kind of have a vague memory of doing those, but I don't know what the project was for. So this will be, the cherry fabric will be the top fabric for Valentine. So I'm going to write cherry. Okay. And I just got notification that the dark pink and white floral print has shipped. I don't think it said it was delivered. I think it said it had shipped. Let's just check and see. It is on the way. But yeah, it says dark pink and white calico. Ordered from Simpson Design Studio. And I don't know, we won't know the fabric, you know, the company until it arrives. But anyway, so it should be here soon. Okay, while I was doing all that cleaning up yesterday, I did find a good piece of, I think it's linen. I didn't really look at it. It was in one of my fabric stash containers, and I thought, aha, if I have to, I can line the hearts. Well, I'm not going to line the hearts. Remember, I'm going to be doing the raggy edge. And in other words, what I'm thinking about doing is just simply creating 2 layers so it'll be super raggy around the outer edge. We'll see what that looks like. But I mean, look at these already cut out. It's so weird that this is in here, and that would preserve these fat quarters for another project. I'm just blown away by this. So I have, it looks like 2 of these. This one's smaller, so I don't know. Maybe this one is the biggest, although that looks like it's the same as well. This is so weird. This fabric looks like pink batiste that I ironed smocking dots to. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. Did I just like weirdly, what? I'm very confused. That's all I can tell you. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna quit worrying about it. This I was gonna show you I need to wash because it is the other piece of fabric that I'm going to be using for this pattern. So the main bag will be chicken fabric, the straps will be cherry fabric, and I actually, now that I think back on it, I believe that muslin, not linen, it's muslin. And I think it was purchased to line this with. See, I should have made notes when I bought this. I should have just made the notes on the pattern, and that way I wouldn't have forgotten what I was planning to do, since it's been a year maybe. I know it was at least last summer when I bought all of this for this particular pattern. And now I can't remember any of what I was going to do. So let me set this over here and move these fat quarters out of the way. The dark pink and white calico is out in my mailbox, and I will try to get that today. This has managed to warp because I left wet paper towels on it, which was not a good idea. I'll just have to clamp it down tonight, and hopefully it will go back to being flat. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do before I forget and before time gets away from me is look at this pattern, which is what I usually do. Now I can either write what I need down and put it on a piece of paper and put it in this envelope, or I can just write it on this envelope, and that is what I am going to do. I'm just going to write it right here so that if I need to go shopping to do another one, I don't have to dig anything out. I can just go, oh, I need a zipper and some what's that called? Twill tape, I think. But sometimes on the back of a pattern, you'll find what you need fabric-wise, what you'll need for thread, and then it just says, look for simplicity notions and writes trims. And you have to dig around in here and find out that you do need some muslin. So 1 5/8 yard of muslin. That's not listed under the fabric. You have to excuse the dog noises. I have Bendy and Rue visiting, and they are looking outside the window and making threatening noises at, I think, a squirrel. I'm not sure. Okay, so that was listed down here, not under notions, obviously. And we need polyester batting, 1 5/8 yard. What are you afraid of, Bama? What's the matter? Are you scared? What is it? Yeah, it's all right. So, what did I say? 1 5/8 yards of batting. And that's just your usual quilt batting. It does not have to be expensive. I want it to be washable and I want it to be durable, but it doesn't have to be, you know, super expensive quilt batting. So I'll have to make a decision about that. Okay, and then jute webbing, and I need 3 3/4 yard of 3 1/2 inches wide, which I bought. It's over there in the storage closet. So 3 3/4 yard. Okay, jute. And then I need a 20-inch zipper and a 12-inch zipper. That's for the overnight bag. And if I want to do the luggage tag, I'll have to get some different notions. I mean, it's cute. I think it's adorable. And if you were interested in making one, so right in this area, you have to have a piece of vinyl, and I don't have any. And then we have the little clutch that she's, we're out of focus. Okay. And that I might be interested in making. I want to see what we need. So you've got 1/2 yard for the clutch. You have to have contrast lining, or not. You could just do the same for the same amount of fabric. So a 1/2 yard and a 1/2 yard. And then we need some type of fusible stabilizer. There's a Peltex that they're calling out here. They don't say what the weight should be, so that information might be within here, the actual description of what we're doing. And then 2 magnetic closures. Okay, so if I'm going to do the clutch, I'll write it down here. So we need a 1/2 yard. Okay. So for now, I have all my notes on here. The rest of this is all pattern. I haven't cut yet or traced. I think I'll just cut it. Okay, so let's take a look at these instructions real quick. If you've been sewing for a while, you know that you can have all of everything you needed from in this pattern right here, or any other pattern that you've been working on, and you think you have everything, and you're going along and you're going along and you're reading and you're going, and your very next step will say using 1/4 inch wide satin ribbon. That's not listed on the back of this, so then you're gonna have to go get some or pull it from your stash. All right, so fusible stabilizers such as Peltex, and it's not saying weight, so I'm going to assume that Peltex is its own weight. but I'm not going to purchase anything until I've looked into this. All right, now we're into the sewing directions here, and we're starting with our bag. So it wants you to do a little bit of quilting. And there are apparently some wavy stitching lines on the pattern. So let's take a look at that. I think I see them. Yeah, here's one right here. And they're broken, so that means we're stitching that. Okay. So right away you know you're going to have to transfer some wavy lines. And if you don't have a marking utensil, I don't know, a marking device, you don't have a piece of chalk, a friction pen, an air erase, a water erase pen, then you're going to have to get one. I don't need to worry about that. So I suppose I should write it on the front, but I'll be okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do, we're quilting through all layers, and then we're going to do all, so we've got the front and the back, and then the two side pieces will do the same. Then we're going to do a pocket. We don't have any extra stuff for the pocket. That's what it's going to look like. Stitch it. Okay, now this is where the jute comes in. They say we recommend pre-washing the jute before applying it to the handle trim because this type of webbing will shrink. Okay, so I'm going to make a note to... Now, I would not put this stuff in the washing machine. My best guess is I will put it in a bucket of warm water, warm soapy water, let it just completely absorb. It's wound up in a big, like a thing like this. And I'm just going to dunk that in the water, let it get completely soaked, and then unwind it and let it dry. Just maybe hang it over the shower curtain or something. What did I, oh, there it is. Okay, pre-wash. Jute. And that's something I would not have thought of, so that's why I wrote it on the envelope. Okay. Now, I also, when I have something that I'm going to have done before I get to this point, I'll put a great big star right there on the pattern. So when I look through my pattern instructions, I'll be like, oh, there's something I need to know. Oh, that's right, I have to pre-wash that jute. All right, so we're going to be doing that. We're going to put that together. We'll be, okay, applying, covering the jute with the fabric. Now we're doing a zipper. Okay, I'm assuming this is the 20-inch. Okay, so that must be the 12-inch zipper, and this is our 20-inch zipper. All right, that looks pretty good. And in this particular case, we do not have any additional bits and bobs that we need to get, so I'm happy about that. All right, so the only thing I need to do is look for a zipper. I guess I'll make myself a little list here because I don't do my shopping in this room. My online shopping, I do it in a different room, so I'll have to take this with me. So I'm going to need to get and that should take care of all of the things that I will need for this project. The fabrics are in the washing machine, or the other fabric is in the washing machine right now. And then I started thinking about what I need to do in order to make a baby bonnet, a smocked baby bonnet. When I lived in Kansas and had my heirloom sewing shop, lace heirloom sewing shop, I had moved all of those patterns with me when we moved out here to Washington State. I sold some while we were there, but it was such a quick move that I didn't really get a chance to sell like I wanted to. So I have all these patterns that I can choose from. I have the pattern for the bonnet, and I have smocking plates for the smocking. The only thing I'll need to do is get some, probably batiste. I'm thinking batiste. I made a bonnet one time out of oil, and it was beautiful, but oh, I wouldn't put that thing on a child's head. It was so scratchy. It was not what I wanted it to be, but that's another story for another day. So I'm thinking I'll need to get some French lace. I'll need to get, I have all the floss I need. I'll need to get some fabric. And if you are an heirloom sewist, you know that it takes like just a small amount of fabric to make an infant bonnet. So anyway, I'll need silk satin ribbon, and I will need for the ties. And then I'm going to do the type that you pull up in the back and tie a little bow using some silk satin ribbon in a narrow width. So it's a simple, just one of the most easy projects that you can ever do as far as heirloom sewing goes. Remember I told you I was going to wash the jute webbing. So it soaked for about an hour in water. I didn't want to put any soap on it, to be honest. It's soaking wet, so I'm using a cookie cooling rack over a bowl. There's quite a lot of brownish water in there, and every time I pick it up, it kind of drains and drips a little bit. So I'm going to pull this apart. I want to keep it on this rack over the bowl. I don't need this water going all over the studio. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. Just letting it dry. And feels like it's probably going to take 2 or 3 days, and the temperatures that we're having. But there's no way I'm putting that in the dryer. I mean, not happening. So we're just going to have to keep waiting as things dribble in. I'll show them to you. We're on day 5 now, and this is the jute that I soaked in pretty hot water, probably around 200 degrees. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to shrink, and then I opened it up. It was in a coil, and I uncoiled it after it had dripped into this bowl. It's almost dry. It has just a couple of, like, you might not even notice that they're wet, but it's still a little bit wet. I need to get it off of my work table, so I'm going to do that. I think I'll just drape it over the end of my ironing board, and it's 3.5 yards, and I think, or it might be 4 yards. I threw the wrapper away, but anyway, it just needs to kind of air dry a little bit more. It dripped on my cooling rack over a bowl, and there's just a little bit of water left. So I feel pretty confident that we're now at the point where when it's dry, I can use it because it won't shrink. And honestly, just letting it soak in that hot water until the water cooled seems to have done the trick. The only thing I can tell you is it does smell a little musty when it's wet. So if that smell is going to bother you, you might want to try to do this system out in the garage or in an outdoor covered space, in a little shed outside or something. I mean, I wouldn't want this exposed to the elements, but it does, until it starts to dry, it really kind of, the smell just about knocked my head off. So I just kind of kept it locked up in my studio, and now I'm just going to drape it over the ironing board. I just barely notice the musty smell, so it's not bad. You might even be able to, at this stage, just kind of maybe blow hot air on it to finish drying it. I don't know. But I have other things that I want to do, so I'm going to go put this over on the ironing board, and when I come back, we'll get busy on something else. So many days later, I'm not even sure, maybe 2 days, I have the what I believe to be the ticking right here. So let's just see. No, this is the muslin. Yeah. Wow, it's interesting, but it definitely has to be washed because as you can see, it has some serious wrinkles pressed in, but it will be perfect for the bag. I've washed both the muslin and the other piece of calico. They've turned out lovely. I just go ahead and dry my fabric. I feel like if I am going to be making something that I will be washing and drying, then I need to be treating it the way it will be treated in final production. So that's been washed, that's been washed, this has been washed. Now this was a little bit more fabric. It's not a yard, it's quite a bit more. So I think, oops, I think what I'm gonna do, these scissors are awful. Well, they're awful for cutting fabric. I still love the scissors. To me, they're just an amazing instrument. What they do and how they do it. Okay, I'm going to cut off the major threads and then I'll fold this up. And once I get the zippers, I think are the only thing left that I have not received yet. I have the jute, the fabric, this. I have the interfacing, I have the batting, and the only thing left are the zippers. So when those two arrive, I will start on that project. And it may be a completely different video because, to be honest, this one is just like a mishmash of, which you've probably figured out by now if I'm editing and doing what I would normally be doing. But sometimes I think it's a good idea to have a little bit of chaos because then comes the calm. Then comes that sewing time where you can just focus and appreciate it. I really am thrilled that I have something like sewing that will keep me in sharp focus, I think. Okay, so have you guys seen this fun little folding technique for towels that is like all over TikTok and Facebook Reels and Instagram, Facebook Shorts and Instagram Reels, I guess is what it is. I have been all over that. So I'm going to take this piece of fabric and I'm going to fold it that way. And I might be folding all of my fabric like that in the future because I love the way it is locked. It's like, this isn't going to come unfolded, I don't think. Okay, so the way I've been doing it is I have the two open edges. If this was a towel or a blanket, the two open edges are over here and then the other open edges are over here. And I fold them long ways. So with like a blanket, it would be the longest width and then folded like that. So I'm doing that with this. Then this folded bit is going to go over like so and all the way down. So I'm just kind of getting it where it's, you know, shaken all the way down. And then I flip it over. So now I have this, a folded edge and then a folded edge. And I'm going to fold this way, like so. And next, because it's all folded lengthwise like that, you can see, I'm going to start rolling it from the other end. And I'm just going to do it like this because I don't have a place where I can show you otherwise, but I'm just rolling this up. Am I going to starch this? I probably am, But again, it's late in the day and I'm going to wait until I get my zippers. Okay, so I'm rolling. So you can see it's all rolled up in there. And I'm not making it super tight. You could if you wanted to. I do with some of my bigger blankets. Like I have a massive quilt that I did this with. You guys, it was perfect. I've put it on a top shelf on display in my room. It looks like a giant pillow, but oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so then I take this and I open it up. So I have a folded here and a folded over here. And I just sort of set this in and then set this in and then push it to this corner and the other, this one. Almost like I'm doing a pillow or something. And I just push it down in there all the way. And I have this nice little packet of fabric. I mean, what could be better? It won't come unfolded, so if I pick it up out of my stash, I can go, oh yeah, okay, this is that muslin that I bought. And speaking of, I'm going to start labeling my fabric. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, and it's just something I need to do. Like, this is muslin that I bought for Simplicity Pattern, blah blah. And I'm going to use, I had thought I would use labels and stick it, and then I thought I'll just cut the labels out and not undo them from the, you know, that's not a bad idea. I'll just do that. Let me grab those real quick. I might come up with something better at some point, but in the meantime, I'm just going to use these Avery 5444 labels that I ended up buying way too many of. Okay, I want ink that will not smear, or ink that if it does smear and it gets on my fabric, I can remove it. So I'm going to use my friction clicker, and this is a 07. Okay, I'm just going to put Robert Kaufman muslin Simplicity 29. I always get this pattern mixed up with the other one. 2274. And I'm going to write that it's a bag, because sometimes they recycle numbers, and you'll search Simplicity 2274 and you think you're going to look for a bag pattern, and it ends up being a skirt or something. So, and I think I'll just go ahead and write 2023. Can't hurt anything. And I'm just going to cut this out. I'm not going to stick it to my fabric. I'm going to pin it. So I have gone down into the fabric, and then I've come up, and I'm going to go down again so that the point of my pin is embedded in the fabric, not poking up where I can hurt myself. Early videos, you guys, if you've been subscribed or following me from early days, back when I had 33 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one. The funny thing was I constantly stabbed myself with pins. I mean, I still do, but it kind of became a running joke about how many times I would do that. So now I can just do this and I won't stab myself. Okay, so I have this, and this I'm going to say I know what it's for. It is the handle fabric. And I can use, I guess I don't need to be using these giant chunks of label. So this is for Simplicity, and I can just abbreviate Simp 2274 handles. Okay, 20, 23. This fabric is not folded like that fabric is. I might change my mind and go back and redo it, but at the moment, I have to go cook supper. Push the point down so I can't get hurt. So there's the other one. All right, so far, these are labeled. I know what they're for. That makes me happy. Plus, they've been washed. I guess my rule of thumb will be that I will not label them until I have washed them. But I can always tell because of that business. Alrighty, so we're just waiting on those zippers.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see.
I'm excited because look at that. Something chewed it.
I didn't want to see the fabric.
She emailed me, and when I get her card out, I'll show it because I'm excited. But she emailed me because it wasn't coming, and I thought, what the heck happened? And you know how I love green ticking. Oh, isn't that? And she said that she sent me extra fabric. So let's just see what. Go ahead and open that. And oh, there's no card. Well, she's Unique Designs fabric on Etsy. There you go. Unique Designs with an S fabric. I'm going to link her Etsy shop below because she also gave me a 20% discount in addition to the extra fabric. So, oh, I love it. And it's Waverly.
Oh my God. Let's see how much you got.
Yeah, just approximate.
I mean, this is doubled over.
I think I ordered a yard. I did. I ordered a yard. I think she sent me 2 yards of fabric for the price of 1.
That was so kind.
I'm so excited. And I love Waverly fabric. I don't know if you've ever sewn with Waverly, but it's like the best.
Yes, a little bit.
So here, I can prove it. It is print instead of like an actual woven. See the white back there? But it's such good quality. See, it has the cotton seal and Waverly Tavern ticking. Wow. And it was woven this way. So I am so happy.
Yeah, and it's going to go with that one or this one?
That one goes with the 2274.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
okay.
This one does. This one is going to go with this one.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be, is this the one? Have I completely lost my mind?
I think it is.
I think so, yeah. Oh, no, I take that back.
Oh.
No, I like this fabric, but it has a purple cast.
Oh.
It's this one.
Oh, that's right. You did show me this. That's right. Because it's got that, it's the perfect match.
See how pretty? I'm so excited. The greens match. Isn't that going to be lovely?
It's beautiful.
They're kind of the same weight. They have the same hand. If you feel it.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh my gosh, these are lovely.
And I think with the dining room table being reduced to a circle, this just has circle to it.
It's, you know,
I guess so.
yeah,
Yeah, the
it's kind of-
cherries and the whole thing.
I think the stripes will complement that quite a bit. The ticking.
Yeah.
pattern.
Well, I've always loved like florals and fruits with ticking.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
That's beautiful, and it reminds me of spring.
Yeah, yeah. A kind of a beautiful lead in to spring and a nice, it ages into summer well, I think. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so I have rice on my shirt. That's always good. And these are the hearts that I decided I'm not going to put on here. I think it's just a cleaner thing. So I'm going to sew these together and stuff them with a little rice. Stuff them with a little bit of polyfill and just have some Valentine hearts.
Oh, they're so cute.
And how weird is it that I found these in there just randomly?
Maybe one of them you could fill it with polyfill, and then it could be a poppy toy.
Yes!
That'd be fun.
Hey, I
Put a squeaky in
could!
it.
Oh, I don't have any squeakies. I'll have to find some. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can have some. I have a ton.
Oh, that's just so poppy to me.
It's very poppy.
Or even this.
And then they have Valentine's toys. Because I saw some at Target, but they were like $10. So it was very expensive. So it'd be kind of neat to have a...
That is the perfect thing. I'm going to do that. And Poppy's like, yes.
She came here.
She can come in here, yes. Come on, Poppy. She's like, no. Okay. Hi, Poppy.
Does she want to show up on the camera? Say hello. She says, I am a pug.
Oh, Poppy, say hello.
She said hi.
Oh, she said, I can't. I can raise the camera.
Wait.
Oh, upside down pug.
There she is. Oh, she's very warm right now.
Oh. Hi, it's the next day. Candace and I opened this fabric last night, which is what you saw prior to this that I'm doing now. I'm just delighted. And I don't know if it shows up, you know, on camera like I would hope it would, but this green here, where the cherry stems and the leaves are, if it's not a perfect match, it's so close that you could not tell that there was a shade difference. And these are not the same companies. This is, I think it's brother sister. Maybe they're made by Waverly. I don't know. But here's that number 2 is the green of the brother sister fabric. And then, I don't know if they give you a dot on the Waverly. Doesn't matter because we have the stripe. And I'm going to do everything I can to make this awkward and uncomfortable, but anyway, you can kind of see how close they are. So this will be a beautiful, beautiful table runner that I had not really had much hope for after I've decided that's what I was going to do with this fabric. So let's get this washed. And I completely know that this video is just about me doing something every day until all the bits and pieces for this particular project show up. And I have decided that this is going to be a video all by itself. I will go wash this in just a few minutes, but we are going to stitch these up and pop some polyfill in there. What am I doing? Right sides together. And when you're doing a heart shape, you know, you really might want to pin. One of the things that you can do is pin from the middle, so you know that the pins won't get hit by the sewing machine. They're out of the way, much easier to navigate, but you have to watch the points. You know, you don't want to stab yourself. I have a bad habit of doing that. And trust me, it doesn't matter how I do my pins. If I do them all the way around to the outside edge, if I do them like this, if I put them on here in such a way that I can't possibly hurt myself, I still manage to hurt myself. So, all right, so the next thing you want to do is leave a spot open. And if you're new to stitching, then I suggest, and I used to tell my students, just take something you can mark with that you can either get rid of the mark or it will eventually fade, which would be the case with either air erase, water erase. I mean, they all just eventually go away. Chalk goes away. But also this is on the inside and probably won't show. But you want to leave a gap, and if you mark not too close to this little point down here on a heart shape, because all of this is bias cut and will stretch. The only place where you do not have a bias on a heart is usually right along this little edge right here, and it's just a small little amount that's not cut on some kind of weird angle. and won't really stretch too much, but just, you know, leave an amount of space between where you're going to start stitching and the little tail of the heart. So we're going to start right where I made that last mark, right there. Let me zoom you in a little bit. There. So that's where I'll start stitching. And I'm just going to go put my machine in the needle down position, which means it won't, when I stop sewing, my needle will stay in my fabric, and that kind of acts like a third hand. It will hold this together. Okay, so here we go. And I want to take a couple of stitches, and then I'm going to back up. And that will hold those stitches that I just did. It's called lock stitch. So it will hold them, they won't come undone. And now we're going to just go. You get to this little point at the end of the heart, right here, and back up one. And then turn your fabric, lift up your presser foot. I don't know if you can see. I know you can't see what I'm doing because of the angle of the camera, but we're going to just lift that presser foot up and turn our fabric so that we're now going the other way. We're now going up this side right here. Just stabbed my finger on that pin. Oh, before I forget to tell you, I am stitching with about 1/4 inch seam allowance or less. One little trick that you can do to help prevent some of the wrinkling and ruffling that you might get on a heart shape is pull against with your finger. Gently pull against as the sewing machine is stitching. So I'm applying very lightweight pressure and kind of pulling this out of the way. Okay, so now here we're coming down to this part right here. We are literally right here on the one on the sewing machine. So we're just going to keep stitching slowly until we get to this inner point. Okay, we are right here now, right at this little spot where the little inner edge comes into play. And I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to turn it so that my heart is sitting crossways like this. And I'm going to stitch one time, back up one time, and then come forward one time. So I'm just doing this. Forward, backward, forward. Now I'm going to lift my presser foot again and start stitching this edge right here. Again, I'm kind of pulling against these little wrinkles that are forming because this is all bias cut. If you find that the bias cut is like, driving you crazy, and you want your heart to be absolutely perfect, just put a piece of regular old typing paper or copy paper underneath both pieces. Just stick it under there and it will stabilize everything and hold it together. And when you're done stitching, you can just pull that paper away. Okay, now I'm coming up to this other mark that I made right there. And that's where I'm going to stop and lock my stitches again. So I went forward 3, I backed up 3, and I went forward 3. Now I'm going to raise the needle by pushing on the back of my foot pedal. It raises up the needle and I can move my fabric out like this. Okay, take these pins off. I'm surprised I didn't hurt myself more, but that's okay. All right, so here it is, stitched together. And I'm going to take my sharp high scissors, these right here, and I'm going to clip just up to the stitching a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but there are little clips in there. That helps these curves to turn to the inside without twisting the fabric into a ugly mess. If a dog is going to be playing with this, I want it to not have long threads for their safety. Okay, now this is the bottom of the heart, the little pointy part, and I'm going to take this blunt end and gently just push it through and use it to kind of put that heart there. Kind of push it out so it looks halfway decent. We're really the only ones who care what this looks like. The dogs are going to be like, oh good, a toy, yay. It could be shaped like a blob and they wouldn't care. They're just thrilled that you made something for them. If you have a dog or cat, and your dog or cat likes to sit beside you in your sewing space and watch you intently as you sew, please let me know in the comments below. My dog Bama is like my biggest fan. He cheers me on as I'm sewing like nobody's business. And it doesn't matter if I'm making something for him or if I'm making something for somebody else or something else. He just loves to watch me sew, and he has since he was just a teeny baby. So I feel very blessed. He's like my little sewing mascot. Okay, now I'm gonna let that sit there while I stitch this one up, and basically the same. Well, with those two things done, I think what I'm going to do is end this video, which is just kind of a mishmash. I might not even find any content to edit and use. But the next project will be the Valentine table topper. That's really not going to be a Valentine table topper. It's just going to be a early in the season, early in the year table topper with Valentine colors on one side and green stripe ticking on the other side. I do want to say that I'm excited. I purchased an antique tea cart over this past weekend, and I'm probably going to be finding already put together antique-y type doilies and tea towels and little napkins and things like that for that particular project. But I might not make that a big deal. I mean, if I find some things, great. If not, I'm not going to turn it into a big video. But I do want to say that on February 5th, which is my birthday, that's a Sunday, and I am going to go to, oh, what is the name of the place? I've never been there before. And if you know me, you know how much I love antiques. So let me get the name for you real quick. The Grand Leader Mercantile, and that is in Everett, Washington. It is also part of the Vintage Cafe, which I will be having lunch there, and that's my plan. I will be doing that, probably finding all sorts of fun antiques and new things to work out on throughout the year. I'm sitting here staring at a pile of projects, just this wall of projects in front of me here. So I need to kind of rein myself in just a little bit. But I'm going someplace new, and it's going to be on my birthday, so I make no apologies for what I come home with. It's going to be fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.